everybody, it's your big black hat man here, and today I'm doing another tribute. This one is to the late, great Sergio Leone. Now, for those of you unaware who Sergio Leone was, he was the director that brought spaghetti westerns and Clint Eastwood to sort of the world's attention, to filmmaking prominence. At the time in the 60s, John Wayne and others had dominated the genre, and this is the beginning of the anti-hero genre, which if you've watched the documentary, I talk about extensively, and especially with his first film, 1964's A Fistful of Dollars. It's a very, very important film in the history of the genre. It really changes the game in some ways. Now, here's the thing about Sergio Leone. He actually didn't do that many movies. He's the credited lead director on only 7 films. It was a very remarkable career, and 7 is it. And admittedly, he passed away right around the age of 60, fairly young, and he had other plans for more movies. And of those films, 5 of them were westerns, and very important ones at that. Of course, A Fistful of Dollars, For a Few Dollars More, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, the famous Dollars trilogy, which elevated Clint Eastwood's reputation. Brilliant films. They do have some issues and some problems, like all movies, not perfect. Then he released, right after that, my favorite of his movies, which is Once Upon a Time in the West. It's just a well put together film that doesn't lag on its story ever. Has the only really good female character Sergio Leone ever had in one of his movies. He had a tendency to marginalize females, but Claudia Carnell in Once Upon a Time in the West, very good character. And he did his last western, which was Duck You Sucker, starring James Coburn and Rod Steiger, which takes place during the Mexican Revolution of the early 20th century. All these movies sort of combine to sort of make a big change in the genre, to introduce spaghetti westerns, as I said. And the thing about them is, I don't know if you've watched spaghetti westerns by other directors, they weren't as good. Leone was the only one who really matched his American counterparts. Even movies he contributed to, he contributed a few movies like My Name is Nobody, they just fall short a little bit. But he proved that it was possible, which is very impressive, and like I said, brought about the anti-hero movement in the Western genre. And the other thing is here, I want to point out, I cannot talk about Sergio Leone without bringing up Ennio Moricone, and I hope I'm pronouncing all these Italian names right. I'm from the Midwest, what are you going to do? Morricone is probably one of the most famous movie composers of his day. He's on the ranks with John Williams, Danny Elfman, all these people who have composed music for movies over the years, and he's excellent. Leone's films just wouldn't be the same without that beautiful Morricone soundtrack. And so we're actually going to use a little bit of his music for what we've got coming up here, because you just can't. I usually use Larry Marquette, my good friend, to do the music, but you just can't copy a Morricone sound. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take the most famous scene from a Leone film, which is the final showdown from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and do our own little parody of it. I usually like to take the humor side. You know, we looked at John Ford's personality. We had little skits in the documentary. And so this is sort of our little humorous version of that showdown. And I hope you enjoy it. We use Morricone's music, and we had a lot of fun shooting it. So without further ado, here is our tribute to Sergio Leone. Hey, no name. What's going on? How are you? Feeling alright? Yeah, me too. Just a question. What's the deal with the two bodies there? Are we gonna get in any trouble for that? Okay. Alright. If you say so. Here we go. Stoic, so brave. Like the original Desperados in Brokeback Mountain.